Hello, just popping in real quick to tell you about my podcast, Unruly Fashion, brought to you by the Podpire Network. I'm your host, Noella Eze. From the title of the podcast, you can tell that it's unruly. It's not going to be a regular fashion podcast. It's not conventional. It's not normal. It's not what you expect to see, but it's going to be quite the experience. Where can you find it? Well, come hang out with us every Wednesday, wherever you find your podcast. It's going to be great. I could tell you that for free. I mean, that's where all the cool kids are. So unless you're trying to tell me you're not cool, then damn, I don't know what to tell you, son. Yeah, show up. I expect to see you there. Come along. See you later.
The following podcast is a production of the Podpire Network. Find and listen to our podcasts at thepodpirenetwork.com or wherever you enjoy your podcast. The Podpire Network, a family of inspired podcasts.
Hello, hello.
They wanted 240. I said no,
You'll take a mill because it's gonna go my way.
Because I said so. And I do it my way.
Welcome, everyone.
Right.
You're here with Sibel and his persistent delusion, Bibi.
You have now tuned in to the sweet, sensational voices of
Hello,
Sibel
hello.
and his delusion, Bibi Shuffleboard.
We were, so listeners, just so you know, me and Bibi were talking just before we hit record.
Right.
And what I was saying is, since we've never met in person, then Bibi could just be a very persistent delusion.
Right.
And Bibi was making fun of me and saying that, why would your persistent delusion have to have less hair than you?
Right.
And I said, why would my persistent delusion be taller than me? Why would the delusion that's meant to make me feel better about myself be taller than me? Let's pick apart that little psychological nightmare.
I never, for the record, I never said that I was here to make you feel better about yourself.
I'm stuck in a nightmare of my own making.
Completely of your own making. But yes. Welcome to, what is going to be a rather special episode of Hairbrained Schemes, the podcast where we talk about some of the most ill-conceived ventures and adventures in all of history. Most of them are quite silly. Some of them are downright criminal, but they're mostly funny.
Always funny.
Yeah, almost always funny. So
almost always.
Yeah, we are, very thrilled to share these stories with you. I will say, just before we hit the groove of the thing, Sibel, that we should maybe take a second to announce that this will be our final episode for a while.
Yes, it's our season finale.
I said for a while.
Yes,
season finale. I said for a while, not ever. Just season one is at an end with this episode.
Yes.
And with that, we break more shocking news than the Will Smith Chris Rock fiasco.
Wait, what happened? What are you talking about?
What happened?
What are you talking about? I haven't heard anything about this.
You're kidding.
No, of course I'm kidding.
You're kidding.
You couldn't exist on this planet.
You couldn't look left or right without hearing about the slap that resonated all across the world. But yes,
slap that rocked the world.
The slap that rocked the world. The slap that Chris rocked the world. Yeah. It's just, no. Anyway, so today we are talking about a very, very ridiculous crime that took place in the 1960s.
Oh, wait. Before we move on, maybe we should give all the details about the finale and our hiatus and when we're coming back.
So I think that, we have their attention. We should keep their attention until the end of the episode. And then we will reveal the deets.
Marketing brilliance.
Marketing. See?
We've got them hooked. See? It's at minute 28 and 15 seconds. Don't jump to minute 28 and 15 seconds.
Oh my goodness. All right. So I guess you just have to stick with us.
Bibi's
through the
gonna
episode
have to like
hear-
Bibi's gonna when editing this is gonna make sure that the announcement doesn't land at 28 and 15 seconds.
I'm gonna make absolutely sure that the announcement is nowhere near that
Yep,
mark.
yep,
So
yep,
yeah,
yep.
Yeah, just so you know.
Or at minute
Just
42
Oh, my
and
goodness.
32 seconds.
oh my
yeah,
goodness.
yeah.
Oh,
I'm just gonna
my
make it
goodness.
harder. Just give you more and more.
just start blending out timestamps until the end of
and
the
by the
episode.
end of it, you just have all of these you need to avoid.
Just all these random timestamps like landmines just scattered through the episode. Yeah, no, listen, we do have to introduce the show. Today we are talking about a Barry Keenan. It's quite funny because his wiki sort of intro line says, he is an American businessman, best known as the mastermind behind the 1963 kidnapping of Frank Sinatra Jr. And on that titillating note, we will take a break and come back and unpack this story for you. So don't go nowhere, will you? We'll be right back.
See y'all soon.
And we are back. We have
Hello.
returned. We have come back, and of course, we're talking about the story of Barry Keenan, who had the genius idea to kidnap the son of perhaps the most popular and most well-connected man in America. We are, of course, talking about Old Blue Eyes himself, Frank Sinatra, who had known and public ties to government, the mob, and just everyone
Just
you would want to be
everyone.
connected to. Right. Yeah.
Everyone. He was arguably one of the most dangerous people in America at that
Yeah.
point,
Yeah.
other than being apparently relatively nice.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, he was known to have a huge temper as well. So again, this is just not the guy you would want to tango with. And
Right.
in fact, in later interviews with Barry Keenan, our would-be criminal mastermind, he did say that he had, for a minute, contemplating kidnapping Frank Sinatra himself. But then he decided, no, he's too tough. It won't go well. This dude is gonna be a hassle. So they settled for
Wow.
Junior. Yeah. Yeah.
Talking about playing with fire.
Yeah. Yeah. So let's get into it. And for this one, let's go straight to themobmuseum.org. And the title of this article is
51 years later,
and this article was written maybe a couple years or so ago. It says
51 years later, Frank Sinatra Jr.'s kidnapping still raises questions.
Okay, so it starts out by saying that on December 8, 1963, a pair of former high school classmates from Los Angeles decided a quick path to fortune, if not fame, would be to kidnap the son of Old Blue Eyes and hold him for ransom. So let's look at this. So this was Barry Keenan and Joe Aimsley. All right, these two were former classmates in high school of Nancy Sinatra, who was Frank Sinatra Jr.'s older sister. All right, so they knew they had some connection, however thin, to the family, right?
Yeah.
So, and they decided that they were going to do this crime and kidnap Junior, who at that point was 19 years old and just starting his own musical career, his own
Right.
music career. And to that end, they started to trail him from city to city. And then in December 1963, they learned that Frank Sinatra Jr. was going to be traveling off to Europe to do a concert. And so they decided that it was now or never. And so they executed this plan, which honestly was just
So simple.
I don't know. We'll let you decide for yourself. But
I mean, it's also interesting that this was, this was before the age of celebrities having huge security teams.
mhm.
Right. But then
Mhm.
again, if you should not mess with Sinatra.
No.
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 No. So, they decided they were going to do this. They were going to have to do this. Parts of the story, right, have indicated that, Barry Keenan was suffering from a,
Addiction.
mental disorder.
Yeah.
Right. He'd been in an accident earlier that year that left him with chronic pain. And
Yep.
so he was on several meds, which may or may not have messed with his, brain chemistry. Right.
Yep.
And then that, the cost of these meds also left him bankrupt. And so it was this desperation that led him to decide to do this crime. Now, for Barry, here's the clincher. He didn't think that what he was doing was immoral because he had every intention of paying back the money. And so bear this in mind for later when, the ransom is significantly less
Yes.
than what you would have expected. And Keenan insisted on taking the smaller number because, again,
very interesting
he wanted to make sure
that he could pay
that
it
he
back.
would be able to pay it back at
Yeah.
a later date.
Yeah.
So talk about honor amongst thieves or honor amongst
the-
kidnappers, if you will.
Yes.
Right? So how exactly did this crime go down?
Nice and simple, my friend. Nice and simple.
Nice and simple. You want to tell
I'd
the
be
people?
more than happy to. So,
Mhm.
Sinatra Jr. was performing at the Harrah's Club Lodge in Lake Tahoe.
Hurrahs!
Harrah's.
Right.
Yes. In Lake Tahoe, which is
Right.
on the Nevada-California border.
Mhm.
And Barry and Joe pretended to be delivering something to the
Delivery,
Sinatra to the young singer's dressing room, where
Right.
Sinatra was there with a friend.
Right.
So as soon as they opened the door, these two pulled out their pistols and were like, "Hey,
Check 'em out,
Webster,
boy.
stick them up, stick them up." So they went in and they tied up Sinatra Jr.'s friend, apparently
Right.
very badly. And
Very badly because he promptly escaped.
he escaped
The restraints.
within minutes.
Within
And
minutes.
so they then got Sinatra Jr. in their car.
Right.
In the meantime, the person they tied up managed to get out of the rope so fast
Right.
that
Right.
he informed the cops, and the cops
Right.
had enough time to set up barricades.
They set up roadblocks
Yeah.
all over the place, and they actually so Barry and Joe Amsler actually had to drive through one of these roadblocks.
Yep.
And so what Barry did was turn to Sinatra and say, "Look, this could go one of two ways, man. We could go home free, or that could be gunplay. It's up to you, my man. The
Mhm.
best thing for you to do is play along. If we go through these roadblocks, just act like we're all together and, you're one of us and they'll let us through." And that's what they did. They talked their way through a roadblock. They bluffed their way essentially through, the corridor that the police had set up all across town. And they went through to a suburb
But
in
it tells
Los
you
Angeles.
it tells you how much pull the Sinatras had.
Right.
That a kidnapping of one of the Sinatras meant that, they put roadblocks up.
Right. The
That's-
roadblocks went up so fast that during the getaway from
Yeah.
the crime, the roadblocks were already there.
Yeah, because if
That's
you and I
crazy.
got kidnapped, that would not.
No,
No one's
no.
setting up roadblocks.
No, first of all, I
A
don't even
cop
want to think
car
about it.
Might get out.
There will, yeah,
A
if.
siren may go off.
Too bad for you if they're on lunch break, right?
Right.
And isn't there this standard procedure that someone has to be missing for
A
was
certain
it
amount of
24 hours?
Well,
or
I think if
40, whatever
I
it is.
think if there's
Um,
I think if someone sees you being
It's a crime in progress.
if
maybe.
if someone has seen you
right.
be pulled aside with a
Right.
a gun or something, it's a different
Right.
situation. But yeah, I
right,
don't know.
Right. But whatever it
I'm
is,
not a legal
Sibel,
expert.
you make a great point. Is they had so much pull that
Yeah.
the Reno police was already sort of involved, and then the FBI not long after was brought in on the case. Now, so
Also,
let's
here's
Mhm.
something worth mentioning: the Sinatra Senior was good friends with Kennedy.
oh
and
yeah, who
family.
had just been assassinated?
Who had just
a couple
been
weeks
assassinated.
earlier.
And the mob. So I mean,
and the mob.
I mean, we're
Yeah.
talking connections upon connections upon connections,
Right.
and money. So
Right. And money and name recognition.
yeah,
and
so
just,
it just
yeah.
of all the people to kidnap, and then the fact that these guys survived is beyond me.
Right. So, yeah, no, you make excellent points there, my friend. So, they do this.
It's like the story
and
of Icarus.
They flew too close to the sun. And they got away. They got away nice and clean.
Yeah.
They got away so clean that they might never have been caught if not for some terrible breakdowns in communication.
Indeed.
And by that, I mean talking a little too much on the part of one of the co-conspirators. So, let's break this down for you. So, Barry and Joe, that I've introduced earlier, were the two executors of the crime. So, they were both 23-year-olds. They had been classmates of Frank Sinatra Jr.'s older sister, Nancy. And so they were 23.
Indeed.
Junior was 19. Okay,
Right.
so that's the dynamic between them. Now, Barry has the brilliant idea to involve one of his mother's old boyfriends named John Irwin. And it is John who places the call to Monsieur Frank Sinatra on
Blue
December
Eyes.
10.
2 days
for the
later.
ransom.
2 days
Right.
later.
Yeah. So that phone call probably goes,
Hello? Can I get Mr. Frank Sinatra on the phone?
I don't know why John is slightly British, but we'll go with it.
We'll go with it.
And then old Blue Eyes says, yes, it's me.
And then, sir, we have your son.
What? You have my son?
What? What?
Unhand him, you fiend!
No, there will be none of that. There will be none of that. We will release him.
How much do you want? I've got $1 million with your name on it, as long as you release my son.
I love this part. I love this
and
part.
then Irwin has to sort of say, we'll call you back. Because what he then does is gets back to Barry and say, hey, look, they're offering $1 million. And then Barry says, $1 million is good, but what's better is $240,000
and $40,000.
and $40,000 only, because that much I can afford to pay back.
Yeah.
Except not a penny, not a cent,
love
over $240,000.
My favorite fact about this is, can you imagine Sinatra getting the call and they were like, we want $240,000, and he's like, how dare you
And he just
undervalue?
flies into a rage.
How
And
dare
he
you
just
undervalue the ransom for my true-born son? You will take $1 million as ransom for my son.
blood.
Yeah.
He has my name.
Yeah.
He sings like an angel. You will accept $1 million or nothing at all. And then he just clink. He hangs up the phone.
And
Right.
the FBI agents are sitting there being like, what did you do? What did you do? What did you do? But yeah, they're like, no, we were not gonna take the $1 million.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
want only 240,000. And
Yeah.
I can imagine old Blue Eyes just like seething, being like, not even
Right.
$250,000 for my
Right.
true-born boy.
You won't even elevate
boy.
his status to $250,000.
He's like, no one better find out about this. It's gonna
Right.
drop. Yeah.
Right. What is this country turning into? The country has gone to the dogs where criminals won't even accept $1 million for my son. Right? But yeah, no, they flat out refused the $1 million. They insisted
Fascinating.
on-
Fascinating.
Yeah, it's just the most ridiculous thing, man. They insisted on,
Can you imagine that? A kidnapper calls you for ransom and you're like, you know what? Oh, you want $240,000? You know what? I'll do you better. I'll give you $1 million.
Right.
audacity.
And then the kidnapper's just like, no.
No. It's almost,
there will be none of that. we'll
almost,
have
it's
none
almost,
of that.
It's almost like you're both trying to be nicer to each other
Right.
in a
After
situation.
you, sir.
No,
after you.
after you.
After,
after you, sir.
no, would you like some? No, after you. No.
You
no,
hang
after.
up.
No, you hang up first, sir.
No, after you. Enough. You will take the million and that will be the end of it.
It's like people fighting over the bill.
Right. Yeah, no, ridiculous. So anyway, it's a 240 or nothing. So the FBI says, just pay the money. From what we're seeing here, these guys are not pros. Okay, pay the money. We'll sort of record the serial numbers on the notes, and just do what they ask you to do. So, the kidnappers ask that the money be put in a briefcase and dropped between two school buses, parked at a gas station. Which is what they do. So they do that, they get their money, they're home free. But while they're dropping, so Barry and Joe go to collect the money at the drop-off point, okay? They leave John Irwin, the ex-boyfriend of the mother, right, alone with Frank Sinatra Jr., and Irwin starts to get super nervous, so he does not wait for the customary confirmation call from his co-conspirators that they have indeed
kidnapping SOPs.
This is
Standard kidnapping
101,
SOPs. Yeah.
Kidnapping 101. This is first day, first class of your kidnapping course. Is you wait for the confirmation.
This is kidnapping kindergarten.
Right. But no, he doesn't do that, and he unties Junior and lets him go. And Junior walks for miles, and he's later discovered somewhere in Bel Air.
And speaking of Bel Air, the Fresh Prince of Bel Air in the slap.
No.
Yeah.
So he's found in Bel Air, and he gets driven over to his mom's home. Right. So okay, this is crazy. This is wild. They could have done it. That was the end of it. But no. Irwin goes off and starts to talk to his brother about this crime. And I guess what he underestimated was the
honesty of his own brother.
No. The demigod status of Frank Sinatra and the diehard nature of the people who loved him. As soon as he told his brother that he had been involved in the kidnapping, the brother does the most unbrotherly thing and picks up the receiver and dials for the FBI.
And he does this because of how much he loves Sinatra.
Yeah, man. I mean, why would you touch the Sinatra family? They were as close as you got to royalty. Why would you?
Oh, yeah.
Why would you touch the monarch's crown prince? Come on.
Terrifying.
So, the brother immediately calls the police, and within days, everyone is rounded up. And
I'm surprised they were left alive. I'm surprised.
You know what? I have thought about this as well. But I think that because of the public nature of what went down,
Sinatra
if anything had happened to those boys,
right, Sinatra could not
they
have
would have
denied.
immediately.
Okay. Have you ever seen Sinatra? One of his later year concerts. He says to everyone, he's like, "And everyone, now rise for the national anthem," and everyone rises, and he starts singing "My Way."
Yeah,
it's just fantastic. It's fantastic.
I mean, who else?
The hubris. It's beautiful. It's beautiful.
Right. It's just chef's kiss. So, yeah. So, they got caught. But there is some fallout from this, which we will, sort of break down for you when we come back from this break, because this does not end here. They get caught and you think, okay, well, that's the end of the story. But hold on. There's more. So we're going to go on a quick break.
Hold your ponies.
and we will be back with the concluding aspect of this story. Don't go nowhere. And we are back, old chap.
Hello.
We are back. Hello. And so, again, we told you they got caught, right? And you would think, okay, these boys are definitely going away for life, but no. So, first of all, their defense was that, no, we didn't do a kidnapping. Junior
it was a publicity stunt.
It was a good old Hollywood publicity stunt, I tell you.
Yeah.
But no, this was not true. But the sad thing is, even though this has been disproven a number of times over the decades, it had a lasting effect on Frank Sinatra Jr.'s career, where he was sort of always tainted by that, sort of, oh, could he have been on it? Maybe he wasn't on it, So it was not enough that he went through, this terrifying ordeal, but he also had to have his career, sort of tainted even before it had a real chance to start, right? And I keep thinking, like, who are these people who believed this stuff? I mean, if Frank Jr. wanted a music career, he had everything in his corner already.
Yeah, he was doing fine.
He wouldn't have had to do this. This is nonsense. But yeah, there will always be people, it seems, as evidenced in our daily lives today, who will always believe in conspiracy theories, right?
Right. Yeah.
So anyway, that happened. So Barry Keenan, the chief mastermind, gets life and 75 years.
Life plus 75, yeah.
And the others get 75. But it is soon deemed that Betty was clinically insane when he was doing this.
Because he was all hopped up on painkillers.
Right. So he ends up serving only 4.5 years, and the other two ended up serving only 3.5 years each. And
so close to life and 75. That's so weird how it's like 75 close. Years goes to 4.5.
Yeah, so close. Close. And so Barry, gets a second act at life, and he becomes this wealthy businessman, specialized in real estate. And he earns millions and millions and millions, tens, if not, at the last estimate that I looked at, it was I think it was like $17.3 million or something.
Wow.
that he earned. He was huge. And he is today 81 years old, or at least according to, as at the time of the article that I'm referencing. And he gets to live a long and fruitful life, not behind bars.
Fascinating. So he really, he made good use of his second chance, huh?
And ironically, if you want to think about it, he got to do it his way. I mean, you kidnap the son of the biggest star in the world, who has real ties to people who will homicide you in a second.
Yes.
And you go 4.5 years in prison. No accidents happened in the prison.
No accidents happened.
You never dropped the soap. Nobody thought of getting a shank. None of the things we see in movies.
Right.
None of that happened.
None of that happened.
You come out, and you not only come out, and you do really good. And you get millions and millions of dollars. Only in America, sir. Only in America. But yeah, this happens. And I think the moral of the story is, I don't know if there's a moral to this story, but please don't do kidnappings. Don't do crimes.
There's no moral to the story. Just don't do kidnappings. Yeah.
It's just something silly that happened, and it had real consequences. But
it's like an idiotic detective noir story.
Right. It's just, and I should add, so, in recent years and over the past decade or so, interest started to bubble up again about the story of the fascinating Barry Keenan. And so, different, as we said on the show, if you do a crime, so so good, so titillating. You will have those endorsements. You will want to get in with Netflix,
So who is
Hulu,
it?
or Disney
Net-
Plus. This time, it
Disney
wasn't
Plus
any
I've
of
never
those.
heard of doing. When was has Disney
So
Plus
Disney
covered
Plus
any of these?
has Disney Plus has Stars. Wait, yes, Star. Is
Star?
it Stars
There's
or
a Star.
FX or one of those? But anyway, I'm currently watching The Dropout on Disney Plus, which is the show about Elizabeth Holmes, the founder of
Any good?
Theranos. It's okay. I mean, I've read the book that all this came from, so
not all of
the
us know how to read,
show-
BB. Okay.
the show will always be a distant, imitation.
Yeah, well,
but,
not all of us know how to read, BB.
I heard you the first time.
Yeah,
I chose
yeah,
to ignore.
yeah,
I
yeah,
chose
yeah,
I chose to
yeah,
not
yeah,
step
yeah.
into that landmine.
Yeah,
But okay, so just to bring it back, so he starts to get a lot of interest, and Frank Sinatra Jr. had to go to court to say, no, there was a law in California that prohibits people from benefiting off of, the stories of their crimes, right? And then Barry Keenan, shameless as he is, puts in a countersuit stating that this was an imposition upon his First Amendment right to free speech.
Oh my goodness.
So if you were wondering if he was sorry for what he did.
Oh man.
Right. So here's someone whose life has been upended by this entire fiasco. And he's saying, look, I don't want this in the press. I don't want you to make money off of this. Let's not glorify this. And you go and say, no, I have a right to talk.
Oh. So not cool.
So that happened. And but thankfully, common sense prevailed in this instance, and Frank Sinatra Jr. won his suit. So, yep, hooray for the American legal system!
Hip, hip, hooray.
Hip 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 my way. Hip 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 my way. Nice harmonizing there.
Yeah, it's very good job.
Quite. Anyway, that is the end of that story, and we hope you enjoyed it as much as we enjoyed telling it to you.
Yes.
And on that note, we have come to the end of the episode. Thank you so much for staying with us, because also we have come to the end of season 1.
Yeah, it's our season finale. It was, honestly, it was hard to pull the plug on the season, but
it was.
I had to pull the ultimatum. I told Bibi that this is Hairbrained Schemes, and
right.
You need to
go take some time to grow your hair.
Yeah, exactly. We need to take a break until you grow your hair back out. This is unacceptable.
Right.
These were not. This is not what I agreed to. So
these were not the terms.
These were not the terms.
These were not the terms that
I've got like 2 feet of hair right now. I committed.
Right.
Where are yours?
And the funny thing is, when we started the pod, I had an afro, so you must actually feel cheated at this point.
I do. Incredibly. You don't even have the respect to wear a wig.
Look what, or a toupee. Yeah. The least that can be expected is a toupee.
The least.
Right. But, it just goes to show how stressful dealing with you over the past 20 weeks have been, that I have lost all my hair in 20 weeks. But no, in all seriousness, we have been truly, truly grateful for all the feedback, all the love that we've received from you guys. It's just been a wonderful experience. Sometimes we would get a random message, to either myself or to Sibel.
I listened to your show. It was hilarious. I couldn't stop laughing.
That is just, for narcissists like Sibel and myself, that is really all we need. That is
that's why we're here.
That is really all we need is just glorify us, right? Absolutely. But no, we have had the time of our lives bringing you season 1.
Yes.
It's been quite the experience, and thank you so much. We hope that you will stay subscribed, because we intend to be back July 8th.
8th of
So
July,
we
we'll
will
be
come
here.
with fresh new episodes July 8th. And
Send us crazy things you find. We're just trying to take a
please,
break to
because-
get our energy back up.
Get our energy
we just
back
want to
up,
make
do some
sure
more
that
research.
we're always fresh, always
Yes,
energetic.
yes,
We just,
yes.
it's more of a, hey, we want to make sure that this never becomes something that we're doing just sort of out of habit.
Right,
It has to be.
right.
It has to be something that we're doing with the same energy and passion,
Right.
And the way we're
Right.
laughing, and we
Right.
want to. We're just making
All
sure
of it
that
is
we're
organic. All of it is authentic.
Yeah.
We
It's
don't.
all
Sibel and I
authentic. I'm the
don't
one who
practice-
brings all of this, and I'm getting tired of bringing it every time.
It's like I'm the one. Like I.
So look,
just-
we were talking about narcissism just a few minutes ago.
I'm the one. It was so subtle. I almost didn't notice. It.
I
Like,
know.
You were saying something. You were saying something else. And you just switched it to I'm the one. I'm like, wait,
wait,
a minute.
wait. Hold up.
Right. No, but look,
This
Sibel and I
delusion of mine
don't
keeps cutting me
rehearse.
off.
No, we don't rehearse, beforehand. All we
No.
do is exchange links of what we're going to talk about. And so everything that you've heard on the show has been our authentic conversation, our authentic reaction to each other, riffing off of each other, and having a great time. And I do think that has translated to the episodes as well, because we get that feedback from you that, oh, your chemistry is awesome.
That has actually been a very, very cool thing to hear for us both, is that everyone is like, you guys have such great chemistry. And it's been very cool to hear, because that was one of those things where from the beginning, it was Bibi's idea. Bibi approached me and he's like, hey, I want to do this podcast with you. And I was like, sure. And he just said,
and that was always going to be one of the concerns. Right?
Yeah. Bibi was like, I think we're going to have great chemistry. But that's always just sort of one of those things where it's like, it's a gamble, and you'll find out when you do it.
Exactly.
And it sort of evolved over time. I think we've found this sort of flow, and I think
our groove, our rhythm.
Yeah. And even when I listen to the podcast and the episodes over time, and I think I'm sure you guys have as well, you've noticed that the way our conversation flows has probably changed over time as we've gotten to know each other, as our podcast has evolved, as our style has evolved. And it's been very rewarding.
It has. Yeah. So you have every reason to look forward to season 2.
Absolutely.
Again, we're returning July 8th. And it's been such a blessing. We would want to say until then, please stay connected. You are. I am the blessing.
I'm the blessing.
Right. Until then, please stay connected to us. Please stay subscribed wherever you're subscribed, with the Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, wherever you are currently subscribed to Hairbrained Schemes. Please stay connected because, you want to know when that first episode of season 2 drops. So
absolutely,
and that's the best way to
follow
do it.
us on our socials.
Follow us in the socials. We are on Instagram as Hairbrained Schemes Pod. We would love to hear from you. And yes, as Sibel was saying earlier, please, if you do come across a story of a hairbrained scheme, send that to us, because a big part of the work that we do is researching these stories so that we can bring them to you. So please help us out in that way. And I think that is it. Go enjoy your spring.
Be well, stay safe, look out for each other, wear your mask, get vaccinated.
Wear your mask, stay safe, get vaccinated.
And this is going to be one of those where I usually always say this, where I say, please wear your mask, please get vaccinated. But I'm actually going to finish this one differently. I'm going to say to everyone over the last 2 years of COVID who has taken the steps of wearing their masks and getting vaccinated, as a high-risk person and on behalf of every other high-risk person, thank you. You have saved lives, and we are incredibly grateful for you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Yes.
Your kindness has mattered, and we are all so deeply grateful for you.
Yes, I would second that. I myself, I'm not an at-risk person, but I do know what a difference it makes, to just do the right thing and know that you are, by so doing, helping to make other people's lives easier. I mean, even if you take away the strain on our healthcare system, right? Just the terrible things that our healthcare professionals have had to deal with because people have not just followed the most basic guidance. So for you out there who are doing the required things, seconding Sibel's motion, I would say thank you. Yeah, I would. So, yep, that is it. And see you July 8th.
Be well, dear friends.
Arrivederci.
Bye-bye.
Bye.